artificial intelligence in the field of industrial technology. You know that the modern human civilization started around 10,000 years before, actually the pre-industrial feudal society of the agricultural based society that continued till 1700s, and later from 1700s to mid-1900s, 1970, the industrial era, including the French Revolution, the Russian Revolution, and the revolutions in Europe for the industrial aspects has grown up. And in the last 4 decades, the industrialization is shifting towards the digitalization with the integration of machine learning and artificial intelligence. And we know that machine learning has a lot of impacts in all aspects of our life, from agriculture, medicine, healthcare, and healthcare, defense sectors, information and communication, and also the pharmaceutical industries. But in the biorefinery sectors, the machine learning has a lot of issues because we know that biorefinery is a very complicated thing. And here, many data processing, acceleration, simulation, and validation, these things are required. That's why we integrated machine learning in biorefinery. And why we actually targeted these biorefinery sectors, mainly 2 things. The coming decades, we are going to face the shortage of fossil fuel and the excessive emission of greenhouse gases. And we know that China is one of the leading biomass producer in the world, so we thought we can use machine learning in recycling the biological resources of China for the high-end products, including biofuel, bioenergy, and other biological chemicals. And we know that there are different routes of converting agricultural waste residues into different value-added products. So there's a lot of potentials of using machine learning in different aspects. And our main target was to use machine learning in terms of sustainable biofuel production, chemicals, biomaterials, and other related products. So we integrated different algorithms of machine learning based on our existing experiments to fulfill all these demands. For our laboratory experiment, in my PhD, I actually designed 2 different pathways. Pathway 1 is actually dependent on any single factor analysis or any single algorithm-based machine learning. Pathway 2 is actually when we use multiple machine learning algorithms together to explain our laboratory data into a cutting-edge prediction or modeling. Here, all these 2 pathways, they are interconnected with each other using different software systems. And we know that there are many softwares, but for our laboratory experiment, especially in biorefinery, mainly the software we use in Python and R, the packages are given here. And this software, sometimes we can use integratedly together, and we can use one software to the cross-validation of another one. Considering all these things, we implemented machine learning firstly in our experiment for the alkaline surfactant conjugated solvent system development for biorefinery. We conducted the orthogonal experimental design, or OAD, through which we found all kinds of carbohydrates, especially cellulose and hemicellulose, more than 80%, and phenolic polymers identification is more than 92%. In case of enzymatic hydrolysis, we found that the glucose is more than 80%. Considering different single factors we targeted in our biorefinery practices in the lab, we used SVM, R4, GBR, and different types of machine learning algorithms. Based on the statistical significance, we triggered the R4 model for our experiment. This is the first experiment. Then we developed the actual given to predicted model based on our laboratory experiments. And here we found that the solid loading and the catalyst loading is the key player in terms of our pretreatment. For enzymatic hydrolysis, we found in the same algorithm that the substrate loading and enzyme loading as the key players. We used 2 layers of validation, 2 layers of experimental validation with the 2 layers of machine learning validation in terms of our cellulose recovery and cellulose recovery and lignification as part of our pretreatment. In the same way, we did the same thing for identifying the enzymatic hydrolysis efficiency in terms of glucose and xylose. The feature optimization identified that time, temperature, and solid loading, these three factors are the key role-playing factors respectively for the cellulose recovery, hemicellulose recovery, and deliquification. And this is done by the sort method of Python. In enzymatic hydrolysis, we found for both glucose and xylose, substrate loading and enzyme loading are the main key role player as compared to the enzymatic hydrolysis. We used a software-named scikit-learn under Python, and we predicted a model that if we use this kind of optimization in our biorefinery, till 2030, the Chinese Ministry of Fuel, they can get additional revenue to their average profit, and it can continue to the upcoming years as well. And the second experiment, we shifted a little bit different in more advanced form. From where we started with alkaline surfactant, then we shift in more advanced bypass pretreatment system. And here we included KRR method at GBR. KRR was absent in the first experiment, and here we considered cellulose degradation and hemicellulose removal instead of cellulose recovery and hemicellulose recovery. The process started with the range identification of different single factors and the correlation matrix of the different single factors considering cellulose and hemicellulose removal. And we targeted the main three factors, especially time, heating rate, and the temperature for these three parameters that I mentioned earlier, that cellulose degradation, hemicellulose removal, and deliquification, along with the machine learning simulation data, where we did some scatter plot analysis in comparison to a standard in terms of SBN, KRR, RFR, and GBR. In all aspects, we found the GBR as the significant value here. In the feature optimization, we found solid loading is very significant for the cellulose degradation and hemicellulose removal in both the cases. And temperature is the most important factor for the deliquification. And this thing helps us to reach a conclusion that in the final data validation of the experimental validation as compared to the machine learning validation, we found the deliquification was extremely significant. Then we transferred from conventional or classical sugar production to value-added chemical production. Here we targeted the production of some functional monomers valorizing lignin. This is also machine learning, our third phase, where we started also from the single factor range identification. Following the range, we identified the substrate content, solvent catalyst, operational condition, and output. These four criteria for the correlation matrix. Each criteria contains different factors. And among the monomers, we targeted mainly three monomers. The H monomers, especially the P-coumaryl, the serine or S monomer, and the guaiacyl or G monomers. And in total of the H, G, and S, we calculated the total monomers. And the key operating conditions has been explained here with time, biomass loading, and the temperature. In the gross analysis of the given to the actual to the predicted value, in terms of our four different machine learning approaches here, like I said that previously we used some different methods. Here we used some different methods. Here we used GPR, XGPR. XGPR is very similar to the GPR that we discussed earlier. And considering all these factors, the XGPR values have been found to be more efficient as compared to the others, especially in these rows. Because the R value actually refers, the higher the R value means the higher the significance. Based on these values, we identified the feature optimization, factor specific. Interestingly, biomass loading is a very important factor in terms of the H monomer formation. On the other hand, beta-O4 concentration is the beta-O4 linkage of lignin. It's very important for the S or serine monomer. On the other hand, the G monomer is largely dependent on the cellulose concentration of cellulose loading. But all the three in total, they are dependent on the temperature factors. And this feature optimization helped us to reach a goal based on this machine learning. It helped us to reach a goal on the experimental data validation, that how much the precision productivity we can gain and how much we can divide it for electricity, heat, transportation, material science development, and others. To be more precise, machine learning helped us in three ways. Firstly, it helped us in optimizing to increase the productivity at low temperature, low expense, low labor, low time, low expense. It is not only helping us for optimization, at the same time it's helping us for the factorial analysis of the single factors along with the risk assessment. And finally, it helps us to forecast the techno-economic analysis and environmental sustainability. Recently, in 2025, we published 3 research papers in machine learning. Especially for machine learning, we published 3 papers, and few are still underway. Among these 3 papers, one of our papers recently got the top-cited prestige from the Web of Science that I presented earlier. It's a breakthrough for our lab in machine learning. So our future plan is to integrate some specific AI models and some specific new algorithms that works apart from the existing method that we used to implement in our experiment to make our research more error-free with more accuracy. And thank you so much.